Welcome back to the Reminder Dental pre-sales series. My name's Alan. We're going to be talking about the reviews. The reviews are one of the largest subsections of Reminder Dental's communication software, and it allows you a lot of customizability because we believe that offices in San Francisco are different than North Dakota in how they communicate with their patients. People in Scottsdale versus people have very different patient demographics, and so the way you treat your patients is very different, and we let you customize that experience for what works best for your practice. So let's go ahead and go together into the feedback section. Now, there's lots of different ways to send these out, as I mentioned. The first way is to do nothing. Like doing dental work, doing nothing is always an option. The second way is that you can manually send out messages. So as the patients are leaving, you can say, "Hey, Oliver, if I send you a link, would you be willing to submit a review for us?" And then you can check his name and send them a text message or an email. Okay, so that's always the most personal way. The second way, or third way, would be at the end of the day. You can, at the end of the day, you're like, okay, so I really enjoyed working with Larry and Cynthia. Oh, I loved working with Barbara. Everything worked out great, but we don't have any contact info for her, so I can't do that. Well, better get better contact info. But, we can send something out to Janice, and now I can send something to all of them at the same time in the evening, okay? So you can do it throughout the day, you can do it at the end of the day manually. That if you want to do a fully automated solution, then you can do this, and that lets it to where every day when you come in, all of these are going to be checked. Now, let's say you do immediate dentures or something that is really invasive, and maybe it's just not the best day to ask for a review. And so you say, well, you know what? I'm not going to ask Robert for a review today, right? And so at 7 o'clock, then everybody else will go out except for Robert. So we can do it that way. Now, you can also come into feedback configuration, and there's lots of additional options that you can do. Now, different websites have different requirements for what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do for reviews. And so not all of our features are, let's say, compatible with the review sites. So, for example, the filtering the reviews is not, it's against Google's terms of service. They want all reviews or no reviews. They don't only want you to send them the best ones. But since everybody has different requirements, we put the tools out there and let you use it however you want. And so you can filter these and say only submit those reviews if the people rate you as 3 or 4 stars or above, whatever you want there. And then you can ask questions and say, did you have fun? Doctor, answer all your questions. And so then we tally up all those stars and say, okay, should we give them a link to this website, or should we ask them for an internal review? Okay, so there's all these other options. So that's the first way of doing reviews. It's the most comprehensive, gives you the most options. The other way is completely separate, but it's here under feedback invitations. Now this one goes out automatically 2 hours after the appointment is set complete. Okay, the downside of this method is that you can't uncheck somebody's name on a list. Now, of course, I can always come into a patient's account and say, Alyssa never gets this message, okay? And so I can do it that way. It's just not on a really nice list here like this. And so there's lots of different ways to do those reviews. And the last way I want to show you is this. Under the feature playground, let's say you've got lots of past reviews from a previous appointment reminder system or something like that. Okay, so I can go back and I can get reviews from these websites, and it will suck them into our system, and then we will go in and try to say, okay, who is Judy A? Who is Elizabeth or Eleanor W? And we'll match those up to your patient list based off of that patient's first name, last initial, last name, first initial, first initial, first initial, and then we try to match up by appointment date. And then what we can do is we email them a copy of their review that they wrote and say, you know, Dear Judy, we really appreciate the review that you wrote for us back in 2014. We're trying to get more reviews on Google's website. Will you please copy and paste this review that you've already written from here to this link here in Google? All right. So you can take and potentially get hundreds of additional reviews on Google just by going back and retrieving your old ones and helping to migrate those. And so we don't send them all out at once. We trickle them out, about 5 reviews per day, so that your practice retrieves or gains new reviews kind of on a regular basis over time. You know, because we don't want to just flood Google all at once with, you know, 200 reviews all showed up on Tuesday. That looks a little suspicious, right? But if they come in a little bit at a time, then that's actually what you want. And so that's it for the reviews section, and I appreciate it, and we're going to start the next section soon.